Hey guys, let me get this going. Here we go. Um, so I'm gonna move myself up here. Maybe. There we go. So hopefully by now, you've already done the school-wide expectations about restrooms and arriving and dismissing. Um, Today's expectations are just everything that needs to happen in my classroom on a regular basis. Hopefully, you will be in my classroom this year and not virtual all year, but we're just going to see what happens and, we'll hope for the best. So, I'm going to go ahead and present this. Here we go. All right. So, the first thing is a do now. Do now is basically your bell ringer. You do that as soon as you walk in. That's why it's called do now. You do it now, you don't do it later. A lot of times,
This is a fire drill for science and vocational studies.
cool. We're doing a fire drill. It's my planning. I don't have to do a fire drill. And not everybody can go outside at the same time to see the things you're missing. So anyway, a lot of times I stand at the door and I say, do now, do now, do now. So you guys will get it done. You should have it done shortly after class starts. By the time I get attendance posted, you are good to go. Sometimes I take a grade, so you might as well make sure you do all of them because I just kind of decide on a whim which ones I'm going to take a grade on. Okay, next one is being prepared. Hopefully that makes sense, and you're going to do that anyway. But your notebook needs to come to class every day. We're not using lockers this year. Everybody has a backpack, and normally the notebook lives in my classroom every year, but now we can't do that because we can't have everybody touching each other's notebooks. So you have to just make sure your notebook comes every day with you. Pretty much all you'll ever need to be prepared for my class is your Chromebook, hopefully charged, something to write with, and some paper. Sometimes we'll do something that's not in your notebook and we can turn it in, but right now the paper might not be necessary. I'm not going to do much on paper unless it's in your notebook. So, the next thing, what are we doing today? I have boards over on my wall. I could show you, but I don't know how well that would work. But I have some boards over on my wall that say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I write on them every Monday what we're going to do every day of that week. So you do not have to walk in and say, "What are we doing today?" Because it's on the board. It literally says, "What are we doing today?" above it. So you can check those boards out and figure out what's going to happen. All right. Notebooks, like I just said, I call them your Bible for this class. Everything is going to go in this notebook, all your bell ringers. We could do so many activities in there, so many practice things. They're all going to be in that notebook. So it should stay in your backpack, bring it to class every single day. Don't throw them around the room. That's how the cover falls off. And don't tear any pages out, especially if it's a composition notebook, which is what you're supposed to have. I don't know if you know this, but composition notebooks are basically big sheets of paper that are sewed together, folded around, and sewed together. So if you tear a page out the back, then there is a page in the front that's going to fall out because both of those were connected. So don't tear any pages out because you will lose some. Candy and gum. Don't know if this is a thing right now since we're having to be so cautious about safety and things like that. But if another if another teacher gives you a sucker, something like that, all I want you to do is just say, "Hey, can I eat this? Miss Hamilton gave it to me," or whatever. I will pretty much always say yes. It just really bugs me if someone just opens it and starts eating it without asking first, because there might be something that we need to do where that's going to be not the most convenient time, which usually means if you would ask me, I would say, "Hold up, let's get this done, then you can have it." So just ask me first. Phones. There's some things that I let you use your phone for. There's a lot of times I say, "Hey, someone Google that." But if we're not using them, they got to be away. They got to be turned off and away. Same thing. You're used to that. That's nothing new. Okay. Right now we're not doing paper stuff, but if we ever get back to turning things in, there are a set of drawers in here up at the front of the room, and each one of them is labeled with a class period. And simple as that. If I say put it in the drawer, put your stuff in the drawer. However, I have had people in the past almost use the drawer as like their little mini locker, and I end up with papers from other classes in my drawers, just because you put them there so you didn't lose it. But remember, it's not for that. It's just for things you got to turn into me. All right. The next thing is respect. This is my biggest request out of you, is that you give me respect, I give you respect. It's mutual. So here are some of the things that are respectful. If I'm talking, you're listening. You're not having a conversation when I am, because then you cannot have your ears open and your mouth open at the same time. Just doesn't work like that. You respect other people by speaking with kindness. We don't talk down to other people. We don't make faces when we have to work with someone else. Things like that. We respect others by listening if they're sharing. We do a lot of writing things. We share a lot, especially of our bell ringers and things like that. If someone is sharing what they wrote, you sit there and listen to them, and pay attention. That's just the polite thing to do when someone is trying to speak to you. You listen. And then this is where I'm going to get a little serious. I am a very laid back teacher. I'm very jokey. I laugh and I act silly, and I'm loud and kind of nuts. But there is one thing that I guess two things that I am super, super serious about. I am a teacher that is very open-minded. I believe everybody is a human. We all deserve the same treatment. We should all be treated the same, no matter who we are, where we come from, et cetera, et cetera. And I cannot handle it. And I think it is so disrespectful when people use two certain words as adjectives to describe other people, or really anything in general. And so those are my two banned words that I never, ever, ever want to hear in my classroom. I don't want to ever hear come out of anybody's mouth, because not necessarily it is disrespectful, but you likely don't even know what you're doing and why it is disrespectful. So hopefully I will open that up for you now. But the two words that I never, ever want to hear are the words gay and the word retarded. Neither of those words mean the things that you use them for. At least whenever I hear you use them, you're not using them appropriately. You're using them as an adjective to describe someone negatively. So this is a little chart that I have, or so a few things that I have found. So the first thing over here, right here. Oh crud. Hold on. Let me go back. Go back. Okay. So this is the R word. I call it the R word. And I'm not the only one that does that. A lot of people call it the R word. There's like a whole website about that, about banning it and stuff. So, look at all of these words that you could use instead of the R word. That's so absurd. You can see absurd, ridiculous, uncool, ignorant, pointless, irrational. Watch out. I keep touching my screen and messing it up. Sorry. Illogical, dull, trivial. These are all words that if you use them, you sound so much more intelligent than if you just call something retarded. And then this other little chart over here, let me just show you. Okay, so when is it okay to use the word retarded? So first question, is it describing a person? No, yes. I've heard a lot of you call each other that, so let's say yes. Is the person developmentally disabled? That means something in their brain does not work correctly and is like delayed. That means they are not as advanced as maybe you and I are, and their brains don't work as well. And they are technically disabled because of their brain, of the way their brain works. So if they are they developmentally disabled? Most of the time when I hear you guys say this, no, it's because someone dropped their breakfast on the floor or something really dumb like that. And one of you will say, you're so R word. So are they behaving foolishly? Yeah. When I hear you guys use this word, it is because they're behaving foolishly and they're doing something that you think is dumb or stupid. So then your answer here is yes. And notice it goes to find a different word. But here's the thing about this chart. Even if we said no to some of these, look at where every single arrow goes. Find a different word. If it's not describing a person and you're just talking about your locker wouldn't shut and so you called it the R word, that doesn't make any sense. First of all, not to mention that's not what this word meant. And here's the reason why it is disrespectful. This word technically means delayed or slow. Okay. And then they came up with this word. If any of you are in band or know anything about music, there is a musical term called retard, and that means to slow down. So this word came from that. And it's people who did not start learning and developing, and their brain didn't develop as fast as other people. So it was slower. And so people would use this word to describe people who were mentally disabled, and they called it mentally retarded, which was fine back in the day. It was like a medical term back in the day. But here's the problem. Back in the day when this was used, people with developmental disabilities were treated terribly. And instead of retarded being that medical term that it's supposed to be, it turned into a insult. And people would treat them poorly and call them that like it's an insult. And it was just like their medical diagnosis. So that's crazy. So that said, that's why we don't use it anymore. Nobody is considered mentally retarded anymore. They are developmentally disabled. There's so many words we've replaced it with because it started to be used as an insult to them. And then people started using it to insult other people, not realizing what it actually meant. So then instead of that word meaning what it was supposed to mean, it started meaning a negative thing. So if you use it, so here's the thing. It's not like nobody can use it correctly anymore. We know what it means, but no one can use it correctly because none of you are. You're still using it negatively, which is not what it was meant for. Even if someone is slow, first of all, none of your business to call them out on it. And secondly, you're using it in a harsh, insulting manner, period. So don't use it. I would prefer if you got rid of it out of your vocabulary 100%, but especially when you're in my room. Okay. So then, like I said, the other word that I hate hearing to describe a person or anything is gay. So I have a lot of stuff about this. I have another one right here of this same kind of poster. How much time do I have? Oh, crud. Let me pause. I'll be right back and we will finish this. Okay. Am I good? I think I'm back. Sorry, guys. So I ran out of time during my planning and ran into 7th period. So anyway, picking up where I left off. Don't like the R word by any means. Doesn't mean what you think it does. And when you just use it to describe your locker, it's makes you sound very ignorant and childish. So don't use that in front of me. The other one is gay. The reason don't like that one is because you're not using it correctly. Again, if you call someone that or call something that, I've heard, again, locker won't shut, it's being so gay. Doesn't quite work that way. Again, I have that poster here. Just like the other one for the R word, there's so many words. Like you speak a language that has so many words in it that you could use to accurately, like literally accurately describe what it is that is obnoxious or what you don't like about it. And you're picking something that doesn't even mean what you want it to say to other people. So again, gay is a sexual orientation. It is something that people are born as. They cannot change it, and um, it should not be used a lot like retarded. It should not be used as a insult. Um, if it's not something someone just decided to do. And not even if someone decides to do something, why should it be used as an insult against someone else, or why should they be insulted because of it? So this blue one right here, it shows you some of the things. It sounds very similar. We couldn't imagine someone saying that is so Jewish, that's so Asian. These are things that represent people, but we would never use it in a hateful way as like an insult. Um, so why use gay the same way? Please don't come at me with it means happy. Yes, and it's a lot like retarded. It started out as a word that meant joyful and happy way back in the day. And then again, it was started to be used inappropriately. Then it started to be used as a synonym for homosexual. If someone, and then again, it just kind of, it's a cycle. It started out as it meant one thing. They started using it to mean something else, which was not an insult. And then people decided they didn't like that thing. So they started using that word as an insult for all sorts of things that doesn't even mean what it means. I love these other two. I'm going to move myself over a little bit. I don't say that's so gay because the words gay and stupid are not interchangeable. You can say dumb, you can say stupid. It's like this poster over here. There's so many things you can say. You don't have to say those words. They don't mean the same thing. And that's what it is. And for someone who is gay, it is literally, if you can imagine someone using your name to call someone stupid. If my name is Ashley. If someone said, that is so Ashley, I would feel so offended. Like, why is my name equal to that awful thing? That's not appropriate. I love this other one with this girl. I don't say that's okay because that's so gay. Sorry. Because sexual preferences should not be mocked or reappropriated as derogatory terms. Who you are attracted to should not be used the wrong way. Who you're attracted to is who you're attracted to. So why does it matter why use that against somebody else? Just because you're not of the same sexual preference. So there's like 3 goals here for both of these words and not using them. The first one right here is to sound more intelligent. If you start using a new word instead of that one, because that's the problem. Once you start using those 2 words, you use them all the time. And there's so many words you're not using. And when you start opening up your vocabulary and finding all of the many, many, many words you could use instead, imagine how smart and intelligent and important that you sound when you do that. Then our other goal up here in the other corner, you get to avoid disrespecting others. So people with disabilities, people who are homosexual, they have asked. They've literally said, I hate it when people use that as a bad thing because it makes me feel like I am bad or I am a bad thing. And that's not fair. They deserve the respect. And speaking of the R word, there are entire websites set up where people with disabilities are voicing, please stop using the R word. It was something used to represent people like me, and now it is used as an insult. And the more you keep saying it, refers back to the fact that we have been insulted our entire lives and we got rid of that word, basically. And then our third goal down here at the bottom, we get to use words correctly, which is a huge goal in this class. Neither of these words actually mean the way you're using them, so you're using them wrong. if you, there's not really any reason you would use the R word, to be honest. I was trying to think if there's any, but there's really not, because there's more appropriate words now. But for gay, literally use gay the way it is. If you say he or she is gay, that is perfectly fine. If you're saying it and they're not, and you're saying it to try to make them feel bad, not appropriate. You see the difference? So it's much better to just get it out of your vocabulary. Just throw it out, and then you don't run the risk of being offensive, of making yourself sound dumb, all of those things. Those are just the two big things that I am serious about. Like, I joke around a ton, but I'm not when it comes to disrespecting other people who are humans just like you and deserve the same amount of respect as you. So those are the two words that I do not appreciate. And that is the end. Come on, computer. That is the end of this slideshow. And those are all of the things that I kind of expect in my classroom. It's not a whole lot, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty laid back, and I'm not going to get all worked up over anything. I just want you to respect me, respect others, do what you're asked, give it your best. Everything just really works if you'll just do those things. So, all right, guys, I guess that's it. And I will talk to you later. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye. I gotta stop.